Grab your cocktail and get ready for this episode of the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast. Welcome to the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and as you'll notice by the name on the screen, this isn't a Texan that we have on, this is for sure. But regarding a recent episode that dropped about the Grand Lodge of Texas, and we believe many more Grand Lodge jurisdictions will soon follow, the lack of recognition for the Grand Lodge of Russia. So, Timothy, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Brian.
So, as we do on most episodes, before we get into the crux of this episode, why don't you tell the world who you are?
I'm a good man. I was born in 1975 in Moscow. I'm a historian, PhD. My interest is military history. I'm a reenactor of Napoleonic Wars, and some years ago I was participating in the construction of American Civil War, 21st Infantry, Georgia.
Okay.
So I was initiated in 2016 in Giuseppe Garibaldi Lodge in Moscow, Grand Lodge of Russia.
In 2016, you joined the Grand Lodge of Russia?
Yes, 2016. Yeah, 9 years ago.
Right.
Became Master Mason in 1 year later, in 2017. And I was a worshipful master of this lodge from 2020 to 2022.
So who was the Grand Master of Russia at the time?
Officially, Andrei Bogdanov.
Andrei Bogdanov, who was a previous guest, okay?
Yes, I know. Why I say official? Because in current general regulations, we have Grand Lodge of Russia have the point that Grand Master can be serve in office as Grand Master only 3 times.
Only 3 times.
Only 3 times. 3 times, 5 years, 3 times. So 15 years. Now, Andrei Bogdanov is a Grand Master from 2007 till now. So 18 years.
So outside of the approved terms.
Yeah. So he's as Zelensky, he's now, illegal.
Right. So there's going to be a lot to unpackage. So recently we released the episode about the Grand Lodge of Texas no longer recognizing the Grand Lodge of Russia.
I hope this is last but not least.
Right. I want to be careful because as you can imagine, we get a lot of information that comes to this podcast. We don't release all of the sources, but not once have we released something that's not come true. So here's what we believe is a plan this week. So the North American Conference of Grand Masters is going on, and our information is that Bogdanov's son and Kravchenko, is that his name? Let me see. And Kravchenko, the Kazakhstan Grand Master, will maybe make an appearance at the North American Conference of Grand Masters and explain all these changes that have been made to say, hey, we're better. Have you heard this so far?
Yes, of course. I heard this information. I know that they prepared the new general regulations, and these new general regulations, I think you also read them. These new general regulations are primarily aimed to demonstrating to European and American Freemasonry that the Grand Master no longer holds unlimited power, as it was in previous general regulations, in the current general regulations. But in reality, this is nothing but a fraud.
It's a
Because
smoke screen, huh?
yeah, because an unrestricted authority is now transferred to the Council of Past Grand Masters, where each member of the council, including the current Grand Master, holds a number of votes equal to the years they served in office. It's unbelievable, but it's true.
So let's catch everyone up. So based on what you said, for every year that you held in office, you get one vote per year. So that means that Andre has, as of today, 18 votes.
Yep.
That doesn't
So,
seem very regular to me.
it's absolutely irregular. So in other words, Bogdanov secures unchecked power throughout the country. So this is utterly unconventional and completely irregular. And unprecedented anywhere, because nobody have multiple rules in single individual hands. So we can see in the 22nd landmark of Mackay's landmark, all Freemasons are equal. So it means that every Freemason, every Master Freemason, includes Grand Master, who is first from equal Freemasons. Yes, every Freemason holds only one role.
Right.
It includes United Grounders of England, includes all the United States Grounders. Nobody have multiple rules.
Right.
So, but this is a situation in Orwell's Animals Farm.
Which a lot of us read in high school, at least in our school. Animal Farm was a senior read from Orwell when we were in high school.
So, in Animals Farm, all the animals are equal. Yep, and now all the Freemasons are equal, but some Freemasons are more equal than others.
Yeah, can you imagine this? There's 10 Masons at a table to vote, and we're voting on a topic, right? Well, 9 of us have one vote, but one at the table has 18. So no matter which way we vote, that one person in this scenario trumps us all. Let's say we have 18 people at the table and 17 have one vote and one has 18. No matter what, that one. So it's a farce to me. It's an illusion of equality.
There's no equality. This is usurpation of the power, because 1 year, one vote. So to balance this equation, we need 18 more years. So 2025 plus 18.
Right.
No way.
Right. So let me ask you this. Why does why does in your opinion, why does the Grand Lodge of Russia even care if they're recognized in the United States? Is there what's the play? Is it why would they care?
Don't know, because I think it's don't know.
Right, like for example, I'm speaking only for me, not for any other Masons in the world. But if today the Grand Lodge of Russia says, I don't recognize Texas, why would we care? Is it a big deal? Maybe for Masons that travel abroad, right? And it's like they can't sit in a lodge, but I guess
Nobody travels in Russian village because you need a certificate of good standing, and you can never get this certificate.
so. It's fascinating, and I've heard that too, with only one exception. So we have an episode in the future where an American who is the Grand Representative of Illinois to the Grand Lodge of Russia, John Meek, and he says that he's set in a Russian lodge, and so with that's not super normal, but maybe because he was a Grand Representative, that's what gave him maybe the authority or permission. Have you set in lodge with an American in Russia before?
No, 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 no. But, I heard about Germany. Many interesting things. I think it's not for this podcast, maybe another.
Sure.
So let's return to the general regulations.
Yes, I'm reading it as you're speaking.
Yeah, there's some one more point. Uh, I'll talk about the Court of Masonic Justice. Uh, Now, not now, but in the new general regulations, all the members, not all, but the members of the Court of Masonic Justice are required to have a legal education, profane legal education. But this is absurd because this Bogdanov is imposing demands from the profane world onto Freemason, because Masonic justice and the justice in the profane world, this is different pieces. Yes. So the entire composition of this court is appointed, not elected, and appointed directly or indirectly by Bogdanov. So thereby eliminating the court's independence.
So this entire court system, jurisprudence, what we would call maybe in the United States, they're all appointed and all appointed by Bogdanov.
Yeah.
Okay. No elections at all.
Indirectly, but they're all controlled by Bogdanov.
Fair. Okay.
Also, there's no presumption of innocence. There's no defense counsel. There's no procedures of for case review. So all these turning the court into a punitive instrument rather than a adversarial judicial body. So this is not a case.
So is it maybe your opinion that Bogdanov maybe isn't attempting to maybe introduce certain profane elements into Masonic affairs?
Yes, of course.
For example, what might, if we were just guessing, what might some of those be?
So if we have some Freemason that uh, good masters. They knew. They read also the books of Albert Mackay, Roscoe Pound, and other books about Masonic justice, but they had no legal education. Go. So this is not about justice. This is not about feelings.
It's very, very old school kind of USSR kind of.
No, this is not USSR. This is cosplay of USSR. The bad cosplay.
Right, right, bad cosplay. Um, so I'm reading through some notes here. Um, Talk about maybe the concerns as it relates to the introduction of the chapter of the Royal Arch in Masonry. For example, regular Masonry typically consists of, right, the 3 degrees as per 25 landmarks. But what do you think the play is to this to go
To add,
beyond these for the Royal Arch Companion? What do you think that play is?
I think there is also irregular because the Royal Arch is one of the additional degrees in your system, you know. So we cannot connect these two systems, uh, symbolic lodges and additional degrees. It's not regular. It's not one system. So it was the connection of Royal Arch and three symbolic degrees was in the general regulations of United Ground Division in England until 2004, I think. But they returned to the ancient regulations and divided these stories.
Okay.
So only 3 degrees. Nobody. So Royal Arch is the first step in York system. Yes.
Right.
Also in England, it's the first step in emulation system. But Grand Master Russia practices more systems. So it's Scottish Rite, French Rite, New French Rite, so Memphis Smith Rite, regular Memphis Smith Rite. So nobody needs to go to Royal Arch, but in the new regulations, you need to go to go to Royal Arch to be a companion or principal to going up in the system of Grand Lodge. You cannot be a Grand Officer without being a companion of Royal Arch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what really there just seems to be a lot of unchecked authority here.
Absolutely, absolutely. I read these new regulations, and when I prepare to this podcast, I think I'll comment all the all the points that are irregular, but I think this is too many irregular points in these general regulations.
So I'm going to read a comment from an email that I have. It's a quick paragraph. Basically, it's a conclusion to basically breaking down what was sent over to me from one of our listeners. And it says, of all of the above changes, most notably the disproportionate voting rights of the past Grand Master, the unchecked authority of the Council of Past Grand Masters, the manipulated jurisdiction of the Masonic Court of Honor, the mandatory Royal Arch membership for leadership roles, and the fact that Bogdanov will hold 18 votes regardless of whether he remains Grand Master reveals a single overarching motive: to keep Bogdanov and his circle in power indefinitely. These reforms fundamentally contradict the landmarks and spirit of Freemasonry, turning what should be an honorable institution into a personal domain where Bogdanov's political connections and self interest override genuine Masonic principles. I thought that that might be one of the most powerful paragraphs that I've read. Um, so if Denis Bogdanov and Kravchenko show up at the Conference of Grand Masters this week, what questions or what would you want the North American Conference of Grand Masters to know specifically about um, this document, which incidentally I have forwarded over already to some folks that are on that committee of recognition. Now, to be very clear, the agenda for recognition, they're not on the list anywhere. So it would, I don't know that they'll get an audience, but it'll be interesting if there are some sidebar conversations that are tried to have. And what would you think that Kravchenko and Bogdanov will attempt this week?
I think they will talk that we change the all the situation. Grandmaster had no unlimited power. This is I think this will be the point. But in general, as I say, 18 votes, no independence for the Masonic Court of Justice. And also, I read that these new regulations fail to outline the function of the legal entity representing the Grand Lodge. So there's no official accounts. All the funds are managed through an unofficial slush fund. So without any tax deductions. And this is given with given Bogdanov's 18 votes, effectively serves as his personal wealth. And this is not a regular Freemason. This is as bogus Freemasonry as you talked in previous podcasts.
Yeah, well, at least in the States, so there's regular, irregular, bogus, but for sure we can agree that these are very irregular. And it's not like our clandies that are totally bogus, but this is very strange. So, what do you think if we go back to Kazakhstan and that hostile takeover? Was the end game just to have maybe to extend the control out just a little wider? What do you think that play was?
I think Bogdanov wants to control the Kazakhstan Grand Lodge. As previously he tried to control the Grand Lodge of Georgia. So he made a small Masonic USSR.
Well, I believe I read on the agenda of the conference, North American Conference of Grand Master, the
Georgia, yeah.
recognition of the Grand Lodge of Georgia is coming up, right?
Uh, Maybe.
And do you think Bogdanov has ties in there?
Don't know.
What's your, if you were guessing, what would you say?
I think they will say that the Grand Master of Georgia in Bogdanov's version uh, is okay for the Masonic Revolution. It's regular. Because also we have now we have a precedent of recognition with two jurisdictions in one country. Because I think 2 years ago, uh, United Government of England recognized the Grand East of Grand Orient d'Italia. They recognized the regular lodge, and now they recognize also Grand Orient.
Yeah, it's very odd that there's two, for example, like Paraguay, and there's some, if I understand correctly for recognition, if there are two in the same area,
Area.
somebody has to give up, basically say, yeah, you can take this, we don't care.
Yeah. So we have precedent two
Exactly.
regular jurisdictions in one territory. But I don't understand that this game will play two. So maybe you had two jurisdictions in Italy, maybe have two regular jurisdiction in Georgia, and then in Russia.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Um, I've got lots of opinions, right? So it's going to be interesting when this drops to see um, again how it plays out. But the opinion is by several who constantly share emails is that for the North American Conference of Grand Masters, if you are approached with this new resolution, ask a lot of questions, specifically about the votes, because it may not be exactly what's presented. Is that fair?
Yeah. So so
Well, is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with before we end this episode? Is there anything we're missing, or do you think that we've covered everything so far in this process?
I think I need to say that all these irregular and clandestine activities. This is only about Bogdanov and his innocent. Uh, the main Russian Freemasons are good brothers. And they talk with me, they wrote me, so it's not a problem. The problem is one. And the name of this problem is something like that. That's all.
Right. Yeah, no, I do believe that sometimes when we talk Grand Lodge of Russia or Masons that are Russian, it's really easy to say that all the Russian Masons are bad, and uh, I certainly don't subscribe to that. No different than all American Masons are bad or all American Masons are good. You're right. You know, there's always a dog in there that's just not great. So yeah, I don't think that, at least on this channel, we don't subscribe to all Masons that happen to be Russian or bad. We don't subscribe to that at all. We do believe it that the recognition committees that are with the North American Grand Council of Grand Masters, and each jurisdiction, each state that they have in their recognition committees, we do believe that they do a good job. And when they make a decision not to recognize a jurisdiction, it doesn't mean that the people within the jurisdiction are bad. It just means that we don't like the way that they're operating. Very simply. So, Timothy, that's all I have. With our start time difference, I appreciate you jumping on, and we'll be anxious to see how this episode takes off. And when it releases, it'll be interesting to see you read all of the comments as they drop to see everybody's going to have a camp, right? You're going to have people that have this opinion and people that have this opinion. It's very interesting. And again, we get hundreds of emails about certain topics that again, we don't release names or anything like that. It's going to be interesting what transpires after this, and to see if Kravchenko and Bogdanov actually show up this week at the Conference of Grand Masters. So that's all I have, my friend, and I appreciate you taking the time to jump on.
I think.
Uh, Cheers.
Cheers.